Good morning, first graders. Happy Monday. Today we're going to read our morning message, do our calendar activities, and then we're going to learn about some math. And the math that we're going to learn about is with shapes. Now we've seen shapes before. We've probably talked about shapes before, but now we're going to talk about the specifics of shapes and what two-dimensional means, what vertices mean, and what sides mean, and how to find those in different types of shapes. Specifically, we're going to work with the rectangle and the square. So let's get started. Good morning, first graders. Today is Monday. It is May 18th, 2020. You will learn about two-dimensional shapes. Have a marvelous Monday. Love, Mrs. Rochat. Yesterday was Sunday. Today is Monday. Tomorrow will be Tuesday. And today it is supposed to be very sunny and very hot. So hopefully that you get outside to have some really good fun playing, riding your bike, playing with toys, maybe chalk, or just hanging out outside. Let's sing our song. A penny is one, a nickel is 5, a dime is 10, and a quarter's 25. Today we're going to talk about two-dimensional shapes, and if you look up at my board here, I have two shapes. Can you tell me which ones they are? If you said square and rectangle, you're right. But do you notice how I have the word sides and vertices up here? Because when you look at a two-dimensional shape like a square or a rectangle, they have distinguished sides and vertices. A side is on the outside of the square, those really long lines that close the shape together. And a rectangle has these sides too. Now, you can count the number of sides on a square, which should be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do the same thing on the rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4. How can you tell the difference between a square and a rectangle? Well, the sides on a square are all the same length, but the sides on a rectangle have 2 long sides and 2 short sides. When you hear the word vertices, and try practicing saying that, vertices, you're kind of talking about the corners. And if you look at the board, you can see how I did that in red. I wrote the word vertices in red, and I kind of did a little circle inside the corners. So in a square, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. And in a rectangle, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. Today in our math lesson, we're going to talk a little bit more about that and how to find them and count them. So let's get started. Today we're going to do lesson 1 with squares and rectangles. You'll find this on page 635. In the background you can see clouds and some grass. Draw a picture using only squares and rectangles and count. Two-dimensional shapes are flat shapes. They can be open or closed. Look at the picture. Can you see how the pig can go inside that rectangle because that side is open? Can you see how the pig ran into that other rectangle because it was closed? Well, squares and rectangles are two-dimensional shapes. They are closed. They have straight sides and vertices, or a vertex. Now, if you look closer at the square, there's an arrow pointing to the vertex. It's kind of like the corner of the square. And if we counted all the corners or all the vertices, we would see that there were 4. If we counted the sides, there would be 4. So trace over with your pencil over the numbers 4 and 4 for the square. That's how you're going to be able to tell how many sides and how many vertices there are on these two-dimensional shapes. We'll work on the rectangle next. By the rectangle, you can see that the word side is pointing to that red long line, which is the side of the rectangle. If we counted all the sides, we would get the number 4, because 2 sides are long and 2 sides are short, making a rectangle. Now, if you count the vertices, the same answer, it's 4. So go ahead and trace over those numbers for your rectangle. Write how many sides and vertices. Look at problem 1. I see a rectangle. Do you remember how many sides and vertices a rectangle has? If you're thinking 4 sides and 4 vertices, you're right. For problem 2 is a square. Write the vertices and sides as well for that shape. Write how many sides and vertices in all these different shapes. You can see in problem 3, 4, 5, and 6, you can count the sides, write the number, and the vertices and write the number. I can't believe how many things have squares and rectangles. I bet you could find objects like that around your house to see what number of sides and vertices those objects have. Go ahead and take the time to do this on your own, and then we'll move on. For this next section for problem 7 and 8, it wants you to circle the objects that match the first shape. So for problem 7, you see a rectangle, and problem 8, you see a square. Look at those objects that you see and circle the ones that match for that problem. For example, in problem 7, you'll notice it's a rectangle, so what other things in those pictures are rectangles? And 8 is a square, so what other shapes are squares? Go ahead and count the sides and vertices to help. For problem 9, you'll need to look closely. Circle the closed shapes. That means that nothing can get in. Circle them with your pencil and then move to the next page. Problem 10. Name and draw each shape. I am a closed two-dimensional shape that has 4 vertices. All of my sides are the same length. What shape am I? Look at the word bank to help you know how to spell either square or rectangle. Our brain builder question says, I am a closed two-dimensional shape that has 4 sides. 2 of my sides are long, 2 of my sides are short. What shape am I? Explain to a family member. For your writing math today, use the words closed, sides, and vertices to describe the square. You could write something like, this is a closed shape with how many sides and how many vertices. Do your best writing. Great job learning about two-dimensional shapes, boys and girls. I hope you have a marvelous Monday. Remember to do your hardest work this week, working on your week 8 matrix, and learning some more fun activities through the YouTube channel that you can be watching me, but also if you have access to Seesaw, you can go on and do some additional fun things. All right, have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.